Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another, not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. Light within all light, soul behind all souls. At the break of dawn, at the coming of day, we wait and watch. Your light within the morning light, your soul within the human soul, your presence beckoning to us from the heart of life. In the dawning of this day, let us know fresh shinings in our soul, in the growing colors of new beginning all around us. Let us know the first lights of our heart. Great star of morning, inner flame of the universe, let us be a color in the new dawning. As we gather, we acknowledge that Arlington Street Church occupies the ancestral homeland of the Massachusetts. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of all First Nations peoples. 157 years ago today, on June 19, 1865, the last enslaved people in the United States learned for the first time of their freedom. More than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, Black people in Galveston, Texas, were told their freedom had finally been secured. On Juneteenth, we celebrate freedom in the Black community, but we know that this freedom has never been fully realized, and the legacy of slavery to this day creates glaring disparities that continue to inflict pain and injustice. At Arlington Street Church, we affirm our responsibility to oppose and to resist racism in all its forms, and to build the beloved community of love and justice. Amen.
Thank you, Fred. Good morning. Welcome, Zoomers, and welcome to our incarnate congregation. Welcome one and all to Arlington Street Church, and a very special welcome to our visitors, especially there's a youth group in the house, Eno River UU Fellowship from Durham. You're there? Excellent. Welcome to Boston. Welcome to Arlington Street Church. Happy Father's Day to those of you in the club out there. Any fathers out there? Somebody. It is summer in Boston, and leading off our 2022 summer services this year is the Reverend Fred Small. Fred was a Unitarian Universalist parish minister for nearly 2 decades and is the director of faith action for Massachusetts Interfaith Power and Light, as well as our minister for climate justice right here at Arlington Street Church. Fred is also an environmental lawyer and a singer-songwriter, perhaps most dearly known to our congregation as the composer of the LGBTQ affirming anthem, Everything Possible, which to this day has never failed to move me to tears. Many thanks also to our volunteers here in the sanctuary today, to our amazing tech team. Art Nava is on double duty this morning on the Zoom deck and sound. Rich Abreu is behind the camera, and Kevin Terrell is tackling the Zoom chat. Thank you to our Great Doors team, ensuring that we can gather safely in person. Barbara Gindhart and Rachel Corey are our greeters. Keith Perrin and Bill Briggs are our ushers today. Thank you to our amazing musicians, Cheng Cheng on piano and rock star Beck Zare on vocals and guitar. I'm not kidding. Beck rapid tested this morning so they can sing unmasked. We've closed the first 4 pews up front to keep everyone safe. A reminder that those in the sanctuary should be physically distinct from those who are not in your family or pod. And when your pew is full, please close your pew door so people who arrive afterwards know that it's full, even if you're the only one sitting there. For those who are new to Arlington Street Church, please visit our website at ascboston.org and sign up for Snapshot, our electronic newsletter. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available in the chat and on our homepage at ascboston.org. For our guests here in the sanctuary, there are printed copies back at the Great Doors. As we begin our greetings, I invite the Zoomers and those here in the sanctuary with a device handy to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from today. And now, Rich is going to turn the camera on our incarnate congregation as we wave and smile with our eyes at each other, as well as our friends in the Zoom room. And you all in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another, heart to heart, in person or in the chat. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
Welcome in, wild hearts. Welcome in, wild hearts. Welcome in, wild hearts. We will sing our way to wholeness. Welcome in, wild hearts. I've just discovered this song in the last few weeks, written by Serena Partridge. And it's a call and response song. I sing Welcome in, Wild Hearts, and you sing Welcome in, Wild Hearts. Well, actually, it's broken up. Welcome in, Wild Hearts, Wild Hearts. This is the first time I've invited a group to sing this song with me, so we'll learn it together. And then the last line is a little trickier, so I'm going to teach that to you special. We will sing our way to wholeness. And the thing to remember is that there's 2 words that go by really quick there. Our and to. We will sing our way to wholeness. So it's a little syncopated. And in fact, the 2 goes by so fast that if you have time to sing 2, you're spending too long on the note. So we will sing our way to wholeness. We will sing our way to wholeness. So let's try the first verse. Welcome in, wild hearts. Please rise in body or in spirit. And you're allowed to sing behind the masks. Are they not here? Or I'm getting a nod. So yes, you can sing behind your mask. Any dissent from the folks who know better than I? Okay, we'll be all right. So, welcome in, you sing back, welcome in. Welcome in, wild hearts, welcome in, wild hearts, welcome in, welcome in. Wild hearts, wild hearts, we will sing our way to wholeness. You sing right back, we will sing our way. We will sing our way to wholeness. Beautiful. Now it's welcome in, tender hearts. Welcome in, tender hearts, tender hearts. Welcome in, tender hearts, tender hearts. Welcome in, tender hearts, tender hearts. We will sing our way to wholeness. We will sing our way to wholeness. Welcome in, grieving hearts. A lot of grieving to be done. Welcome in, grieving hearts, grieving hearts. Welcome in, grieving hearts, grieving hearts. Welcome in, grieving hearts, grieving hearts. We will sing our way to wholeness. We will sing our way to wholeness. Longing hearts. Welcome in, longing hearts, longing hearts. Welcome in, longing hearts, longing hearts. Welcome in, longing hearts, longing hearts. We will sing our way to wholeness. We will sing our way to wholeness. And if you find some harmony that you'd like to try, feel free to do that. Courageous hearts. Speaking of harmony, courageous hearts. Welcome in, courageous hearts, courageous hearts. Welcome in, courageous hearts, courageous hearts. Welcome in, courageous hearts, courageous hearts. We will sing our way to wholeness. We will sing our way to wholeness. Last time. We will sing our way to wholeness. Beautiful. Thank you.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for a treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit a candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow into the chat. Zoomers are invited to light silent candles at home. Those in the sanctuary are invited to light a silent candle at the table up top, up front to the right of the Gleason podium. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious our beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
A mixed candle from the Arlington Street Church community. Today, as we commemorate our newest federal holiday, Juneteenth Independence Day, let us not forget that it took 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect for the last enslaved people in this country to learn of their freedom. To quote Boston University Dean Harvey Young, "We continue to live in a society in which groups have received every advantage and privilege actively campaign against efforts to include the historically marginalized and oppressed. The work is not done yet." Our final candle is a mixed candle from back there. My partner Regan has been a champion this past year working in a school during the pandemic. Unfortunately, in this past week, she tested positive for COVID and is at our home alone instead of celebrating with her friends, students, and co-workers for the end of the school year. She's endured several encounters with COVID, and none have been easy. I've been overwhelmingly blessed to have her in my life through such difficult and changing times. She deserves a universe of grace and love, and I'm counting down the hours until her isolation period ends. Additionally, thank you to the Arlington Street community for embracing us both immediately and providing such a safe and joyful environment for us. We're excited to be in Boston for the foreseeable future.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
We have one candle of joy from the Arlington Street congregation. Wishing a happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, to the fathers to be, to the fathers who've done wonderfully, to the fathers who could have done better, to the fathers who are trying to do a better job, and to the fathers that have gone and left us too soon. We hold you in our hearts today.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Open my heart to be a sanctuary,
for all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts. We light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now and sing together the affirmation and covenant of our beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación, y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. Now, please stand if you're willing and able for hymn 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky.
I knew a man once who tried to save a tree. It was a magnificent red oak planted in the 19th century. Through numberless winters and springs and summers and autumns, its roots had penetrated deep into the soil. And its trunk had grown tall and strong. Generations of families and friends and lovers had gathered gratefully in the shade of its broad canopy. And the man loved the tree and held it sacred. But the tree grew close to a building, and one day the owners of the building decided it needed to be improved and expanded. The tree would have to be cut down, they said. And so the man who loved the tree wrote letters and social media posts to try and change their minds. He organized others and enrolled political leaders in his cause. "Save the tree," they cried. The owners were unmoved. "It's true," they said, "the tree is old and beautiful, but it's actually not in very good shape. It will die soon anyway. Besides," they said, we have no choice. We've examined every alternative, and none is practical within our budget. The tree must go." Outraged, the man assailed their motives and integrity. His letters and posts grew more acerbic and sarcastic. At last, his belligerence and ill temper drove away even people who also cared about the tree and might have helped save it. And so the tree was cut down, and all who saw its severed limbs couldn't help noticing how healthy they looked. And the man cursed the owners for their stupidity and short-sightedness. This good man who loved trees so profoundly and so passionately had not learned from them. His feverish, frenetic activism was nothing at all like a tree. He championed the sacredness of trees while neglecting the sacredness of human beings, including his own. He knew the worth of trees, but not the peace of trees. Don't we all make the same mistake, at least some of the time? More than half a century ago, the Trappist monk and peace activist Thomas Merton warned, "There is a pervasive form of contemporary violence to which the idealist most easily succumbs: activism and overwork. The rush and pressure of modern life are a form, perhaps the most common form, of its innate violence. To allow oneself to be carried away by a multitude of conflicting concerns, to surrender to too many demands, to commit oneself to too many projects, to want to help everyone in everything, is to succumb to violence. The frenzy of our activism," Merton said, "neutralizes our work for peace. It destroys our own inner capacity for peace. It destroys the fruitfulness of our own work because it kills the root of inner wisdom, which makes work fruitful." The frenzy of our activism destroys our inner capacity for peace and the fruitfulness of our work. Actually, Thomas Merton was lucky. He died before Twitter. Twitter, that twilight zone of snark, contempt, adorable animal videos, occasional inspiration, and permanent outrage, where I've wasted far too much of my time. It's easy to be punitive and make others disposable, cautioned Tom DeWolf and Jody Geddes in the Little Book of Racial Healing. The difficult task, they say, The difficult task is in telling the truth in ways that seek healing and transformation. Yeah. We are beset today by a host of daunting challenges, all of them urgent and interconnected, many seemingly intractable. From patriarchy to white supremacy, from public corruption to secret abuse, from Islamophobia to transphobia, from gun violence to armed insurrection, from mass incarceration to mass extinction. It's natural for us to feel grief, anger, fear, even despair. I'm a climate justice activist. Despair is my constant companion. By now, it's almost an old friend. It seems every new report coming from the scientists is even more depressing than the last. As Lily Tomlin once observed in a completely different context, things are going to get worse before they get worse. The realization that it's too late to prevent significant global warming, too late even to prevent vast suffering, has had a surprising effect on me. Instead of making me more anxious and agitated, somehow it has calmed and steadied me. For decades as a climate activist, I felt like I was in a rowboat above a thundering waterfall, rowing frantically to keep from going over the falls. Well, the boat is going over the falls. We are plummeting, tumbling, crashing into the unknown at vertiginous speed, and yet somehow at the same time in slow motion. Terrible things are happening and will happen. Millions, I believe, will suffer and die, with the worst impacts upon those least responsible for the problem, people of color and people living in poverty all around the world. But it is never too late to save the next life or the next species. It is never too late to do the next right thing. I vow to do everything I can to reduce the suffering, to tend to the wounded, and to build a more just world. But since I do think it's too late to head off catastrophe, I am resolved to do these things mindfully, with love and compassion and tenderness and generosity of spirit. Because given the certainty of suffering, the how is as important as the what, or even the when. Our climate future is not binary. Everything's going to be wonderful or everything's going to be awful. Ecotopia or dystopia. The future will almost certainly have elements of both. And where the balance between them falls will depend upon an infinite number of choices. Our choices, your choices, the choices of our children and their children and their children. We don't know what's going to happen. I hope that the human species survives the crisis we have created. But whether or not we do, we know that life on Earth has already survived 5 major extinctions. Life will endure. And intelligent life will continue to evolve. With luck and the grace of God, not only smarter, but also wiser, kinder, more compassionate. As we confront this crisis, Potawatomi botanist Robin Wall Kimmerer reminds us we don't have to figure out everything by ourselves. There are intelligences other than our own, teachers all around us. If we understood that, Kimmerer says, imagine how less lonely our world would be. So as we struggle to save our trees, what can we learn from them? One thing we can learn is patience. When we are in mortal danger, patience can be hard to cultivate. Trees can help us. Trees take the long view. They have to. Many live hundreds, even thousands of years. Longevity counsels patience. Now, by patience, explains Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron, we do not mean enduring, grin and bear it. In any situation, instead of reacting suddenly, we could chew it, smell it, look at it, and open ourselves to seeing what's there. The journey of patience, she writes, involves relaxing, opening to what's happening, experiencing a sense of wonder. To be patient means to slow down. On an exposed cliffside in the Canadian Great Lakes is a white cedar that's taken 155 years to reach the towering height of 4 inches. That's taking it slow. Even when a tree is under threat, it responds slowly. When a caterpillar begins to chew on an oak leaf, it can take an hour before defensive compounds reach the leaf to repel the pest. The hectic pace of humans takes a toll on our activism, our relationships, and our souls. We can be peaceful in our fervor, insists Charles Eisenstein, and patient in our urgency. In a society hyped up on hyper-individualism, trees remind us of the interdependence of all things. Far from the solitaries they sometimes appear, trees are deeply embedded and active in a community of interconnection, which forest ecologists sometimes playfully call the wood wide web. Whether by interlacing root systems, fungal networks, or release of chemical scents, trees warn each other of predators and harmful insects. They can even share nutrients with each other. According to ecologist and Tsimshian native Dr. Teresa Ryan, when a tree in a warming forest dies, it donates its carbon not to its own offspring or even to others of the same species, but to the newest arrivals in the forest, those most likely to survive the temperature increase. A bequest of generosity, akin to altruism. Trees model for us the power of commitment, of choosing to be rooted in one place. When a seed takes root, it makes a lifelong commitment to that very spot. There it must adapt or die. Now, our commitments need not be absolute, but they call us to strive and to struggle, to honor our relationships, our communities, and our principles. Commitment demands persistence, and trees persist through high winds, torrential rains, heavy snowstorms that bend their branches, and ice storms that break them. If you've ever seen a tree clinging to seemingly naked rock, its root tips stretching to every particle of available soil, sucking in the tiniest droplet of moisture, you know what persistence looks like. Trees teach us to live with loss. Every fall, deciduous trees surrender their leaves as they fall to the forest floor, enriching the soil not only for themselves, but for all who share their ecosystem. And trees endure the deaths of their companions from wind, fire, storm, disease, logging, and old age. Trees embody the perfection of imperfection. Admiring an old maple in Connecticut one time, I was struck by its sinuous beauty. Looking more deeply, I realized its beauty lay precisely in its irregularity, its imperfection. Had it been perfectly straight, perfectly uniform, perfectly symmetrical, it would have been grotesque. Only human beings make things that way. God knows better. Maybe, just maybe, I too could accept my imperfections as a mark of beauty. When I spend time with trees, I sense somehow their humility, kindness, and love. I used to think it was anthropomorphic to ascribe human attributes to non-human beings, but I no longer think so. Actually, I think it's anthropocentric to think so. We are all sentient beings. We know that plants feel pain and distress. Why shouldn't trees, in their own way, feel love? If you doubt that, I invite you to spend more time with trees, touching their bark, gazing up at their leaves, and just listening. Trees have been among my wisest and most reliable teachers. As a child, Howard Thurman, who would grow up to become one of the great preachers of the 20th century and a spiritual advisor to Martin Luther King Jr., as a child, he discovered a unique relationship with an oak tree in his backyard. I could sit my back against its trunk, he remembered, and reach down in the quiet places of my spirit, take out my bruises and my joys, unfold them, and talk about them. I could talk aloud to the oak tree and know that I was understood. It too was part of my reality, like the woods, the night, the pounding surf. My earliest companions, giving me space. Today we need love more than ever. Climate and racial justice advocate Mary Anais Hegler confesses that love is what keeps her going. I don't mean any simple, sappy kind of love, she declares. I mean living, breathing, heart-beating love, wild love. This love is not a noun, this is an action verb. She can shoot stars into the sky. She can spark a movement. She can sustain a revolution. I love this beautiful, mysterious, complicated planet we get to call home. I love that nighttime symphony on steamy southern nights when the frogs croak and the crickets sing and the owls hunt. I love the delicate feel of honeysuckle petals and the warm, grainy earth and dewy grass on my bare feet. This love is strong enough to break through the terror. She's hot enough to burn through anger and turn into fury. She can shake you out of your despair and propel you to the front of the battlefield. It's a love that can also, even in the teeth of these most insurmountable odds, give me hope. If I'm brave enough to accept it. I'll let the trees have the last word. With the assistance of their friend and interpreter, the late poet Mary Oliver. When I'm among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, Equally, the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. It's simple, they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. Amen. And blessed be.
I am resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. These times are poignant, the winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the water, women at the center. All vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its needs. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, oh. I made of thunder, I'm made of lightning, I'm made of dirt, yeah, made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust, and this world is made for me, so let's go and try our luck. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I got my roots down, down, down deep. So what are we doing here? What has been done? What are you gonna do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. Put us all together, we'll make a mighty roar. movement. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative, march up the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen.
Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us, and our generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Thinking of Fred's sermon, there's so many touch points, but thinking today is Father's Day, how to tie trees, fathers, generosity all together. As a father, I hope I've been able to pass along my wisdom and many lessons to my children, both directly and indirectly, while silently protecting and caring for them in every possible way. Nature, the trees around us, play a similar role by making our lives possible while asking for very little care in return. This is their gift to us, without which we wouldn't exist. And like fathers, they never ask for too much in return. It is this generosity of trees that sustain us. There's also a certain generosity that sustains us here at Arlington Street Church, and kind of in the fatherly tradition. I will make a dad joke for Father's Day. The fatherly tradition of, Dad, can I have $20 to go to the movies? Please take a moment now to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community here and filling our virtual collection plate. You can mail a check to the church or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be handed to me or Fred or any of our ushers after the service. You can give online by scanning the QR code in the order of service or by going to ascboston.org. Or you can also text your gift to our church by sending a message with the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. This summer, as always, we're directing our gifts to the Emergency Response Fund. Over the years, we've used this money to support survivors of local emergencies and to help in rescue and rebuilding efforts following natural and unnatural disasters nationally and around the world. Greater Boston, as well as New Orleans, Houston, Puerto Rico, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Thailand, Haiti, the Philippines, Afghanistan, and most recently, the Ukraine. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, Cheng. It's beautiful. There are weekly gatherings in our Zoom room for loving kindness, meditation, poetry, yoga, and writing. Every Wednesday, including throughout the summer, Reverend Kim and Reverend Beth host a tea party with a conversation prompt. It's a lot of fun. Information and Zoom room links are at ascboston.org. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to turn on your video or talk if you don't want to. And they're all free. All are always welcome. Following the service, everyone is welcome to join in our virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, please answer yes to the breakout room invitation that will appear on your screen. Reverend Fred and I will be out front. If you're here in person, please come say hello after the virtual coffee hour. Thanks to all of you who joined in today's service, to everyone here in the house, to all our Zoomers at home, to Reverend Fred Small, Cheng Beck Zer, our tech team, our ushers. Thanks to all of you for joining in today's service, and thanks for making it possible. Remember, we're all in this together.
Our closing hymn is number 100 in your gray hymnal, I've Got Peace Like a River. Please rise in body or in spirit. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. Love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. Pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. Tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. Strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. Our benediction is by Stephanie Kaza. Let go of the place that holds. Let go of the place that flinches. Let go of the place that controls. Let go of the place that fears. Listen. The wind is breathing in the trees. Walking in the night, I practice courage, accepting the vastness of what I cannot see. Our worship has ended. Our service begins. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.